Welcome to Pastoral Theology Foundations 1. My name is Associate Professor Glenn Morrison. Topic 9, Pastoral Ministry and Aging. Who are the elderly? How can we begin to journey into their life stories? They can be full of years. They have many stories that have helped to forge their identity, their hopes, their dreams. They have encountered failure, depression, loneliness. They have at times encountered the blessings and joy of family life, or the disappointment of broken relationships. How can we begin to understand their lives, all the forces of good and evil that they have experienced or they have been a part of? There is something very mysterious as we engage the life of the elderly. They have experienced so much, many experiences, and when we come to them in pastoral care, we encounter their mystery through listening to their reflection, to their search and quest for meaning. Henry Nouwen, with two other writers, Peter Naus and Don McNeill, have written a marvelous article on aging and ministry. They look at it in terms of aging as a way of darkness and a way of light. We live in an in-between, a metaxic world, an in-between world of light and darkness, as it were. Our lives are filled with joys and yet with too many sadnesses at times, disappointments, humiliations, tragedies. And so when we encounter their elderly who are full of years, they approach us and they invite us to listen to their stories, and we can embrace the practice of spiritual reminiscence when we listen to their stories, allowing their soul to give voice to their pain, their suffering, their hopes. And then we can begin to discover that they actually teach us as well, that they minister to us and that they give us hope for our lives. Henry Nouwen and the other two authors, they speak of, as mentioned, a way of darkness and a way of light. The way of darkness for the elderly is often experienced through segregation, desolation, and a loss of self. In segregation, they are rejected by society. In desolation, they are rejected by friends, or they encounter the loss and death of too many good friends. And the loss of the self, it is the rejection of self itself, the rejection of self, that painful loss of hope within oneself, that painful loss of faith and painful loss of love for oneself. Who can understand the pain of such tragedy itself? We live in a human age where people tend to spend more time preventing looking older than really caring for those who are the elderly. Then how can, as pastoral carers, especially in pastoral ministry, try to breach this gap of care? Those who are segregated will seek to hang on to their possessions as a form of identity, but we have to encourage a life of being, the life of love itself, being in love, being their friend. And so meeting their desolation, their loss of friends, the pastoral carer is called to be their friend, to listen to their spiritual reminiscence of stories, and in such a way to build up their sense of self again. At the very moment where all seems lost, everything can seem possible through the gift of friendship, sharing the friendship of Christ. And as so we move to the way of light, to hope, to humor, and to vision. To give hope inspires that a sense of hope, of hoping in people rather than wishing for objects. And through hoping in people, we move to humor, to share wisdom with a soft smile and encourage their wisdom as well. And this breaks down, such wisdom of humor breaks down all types of divisions, so that the young and old can be one, and so that this brings a tremendous vision that we can be one together. And this invites the presence of a poverty of heart, giving space and love for the elderly, and a word of compassion, these moments of compassion which inspire humility and healing and the love of life, the mystery of friendship itself.